It is crunch time now for England as a test team and Trevor Bayliss as coach in the longer form. They have to escape from Auckland without losing and then win in Christchurch to show they are not going backwards. The autumnal Auckland rain had given them a sniff by the end of the third day when only 17 balls were possible because of the deluge. Without it they could have been one down by now, but at least they had a fighting chance of a draw. It really should not have come to this. Yes, England's defeat in India was expected because of their traditional weakness against spin and, yes, an Ashes thrashing was expected as long as Australia's fast bowlers stayed fit and firing. But this is different. New Zealand are a very decent side and are traditionally underestimated because of their relatively meagre resources, but England simply should not be losing to them either home or away in Test cricket, and England should not have so much trouble in combating the moving ball at a fast medium pace, as they did in that horror show of a first innings here, because they are brought up facing it. It should be their meat and drink. That is why Bayliss needs England to turn this series around to dismiss the growing belief that the coaching really is a job for two men these days and that there would be no time like the present to bring in someone to replace him. Bayliss, who is entitled to be jaded after a ridiculously long winter, said after the 2020 Tri-Series here that he would be happy to hand over the shorter form of the game to someone else for the last year of his contract as coach. But it is the Test game where there might be a case for a change ahead of a summer where Pakistan and India will prove difficult opposition ahead of another Ashes summer in 2019 that will define this England Test team. The Australian always says he prefers Test cricket, but he was brought in by Andrew Strauss specifically to address England's chronic white ball game, and he has been a huge success in revolutionising 50-over cricket with Owen Morgan. The question is whether too much emphasis has been placed on England's limited over shortcomings and that Test cricket has suffered as a result, with Bayliss handed simply too big a workload in coping with all three formats. Strauss's intentions were laudable and he recruited the best man for the job in Bayliss, but what everyone at the ECB has to remember is that the bulk of their supporters prefer Test cricket and they should not drive away a traditional audience in the pursuit of what might well be a new mythical one. Paul Farbrace remains Bayliss's strong right hand, and the best way for England to ensure he does not leave to take charge of Bangladesh after this series might be to give him extra responsibility for the Test side. Then Bayliss could concentrate on doing what he was brought in to do, win the 2019 World Cup, while Farbrace has ultimate responsibility for next year's Ashes. The pair could work together, too, unlike Andy Flower and Ashley Giles when the two-coach experiment was last tried and failed. For now England have to ensure they recover from the collapse to 58 all-out that put them in so much trouble in Auckland in the first place, and have the perfect man to help them in lead batting coach Graham Thorpe. Thorpe, making a rare appearance with the senior Test team in place of Mark Ramprakash, was a member of the England team blown away for 46 by West Indies and Trinidad in 1994 and saw how they fought back to win the next Test in Barbados. Now he is advocating calm to hit back from this mess. The mind is the most important thing, so my life experience can come into play a bit, but they are the ones who have to go out there and put this right, said Thorpe as Eden Park became a miserable sight in the rain. You've got to get back out there and get in the fight. Technique is one thing, but actually the most important thing is getting your head back in the battle. They can redeem themselves by putting in a top-class performance in the second innings. That is what it will have to be to get out of this Test. One of the biggest criticisms of England's demise here is that no batsman, other than Craig Overton, learnt from those who went before. Nobody moved their feet while Trent Boult reigned supreme. Should Thorpe have intervened? It's a tough thing to sit on people's shoulders and peck away in their ear telling them what to do, insisted Thorpe. They are international players, and with all the experience they have against the moving ball, you'd like to think they could come to grips with it. Sometimes these things happen. There was a lot of shock in the dressing room afterwards. You're playing for your country, and when you get rocked over like that, it dents your pride. You can't feel sorry for yourself for too long because the next day is coming. That day of reckoning will come pretty soon for this England Test team unless they can turn their fortunes around here and in Christchurch next week.